that is really a sort of a David and Goliath type of a question, of course. And, you know, Swatch Group is in the role of David. The annual revenues barely 10 billion francs, put into perspective against the size of Apple. So, you know, Apple has huge financial resources. We all know it does things very well indeed. And what Swatch Group CEO Nick Hayek said yesterday at an investors and a press meeting launching their new smartwatch and what their plans are for the future is basically, look, we make watches, but we want to make them maybe smart rather than putting on trying to miniaturize a mobile telephone and put it onto your wrist, which is how they see the development of Apple. So what they unveiled yesterday was a sort of like a fun upmarket fitness band called the 01. This is actually aimed at sort of volleyball enthusiasts. It takes your heart rate, and it's you know, nothing too out of this world, but it's fun, it's frivolous. It retails for just a little bit over $100 versus the $350 and upwards for the mini computer you'll get with an Apple. And in addition, they talked a lot about the NFC technology. Actually, just listening to your colleague, they've actually have a deal with Union Pay in China. Right. There will be a relationship between them. They'll embed NFC chips into their watches, and you'll be able to make payments in China through them.
Yeah, I wanted to pick up on that, John. If this is a watch, if this is a product that is geared to the China market, is this going to translate into a meaningful revenue stream for the Swatch Group?
Yeah, I think so. I think on the one hand, you have to look at about 20% of their operating profit comes from watches retailing below $1,000. That's the segment that could be cannibalized by the Apple Watch. And I think this initiative they have and the development of smartwatches is a way to maintain market share. And I think what everybody's hoping is that Apple Watch develops a sort of whole new segment of the watch market, and actually the Swiss watchmakers will be able to gain. So yes, I think in the first instance there is a risk of them losing share as Apple Watch is launched at the end of April. But I think over the sort of coming months and quarters, they could actually gain share if this market really starts to take off. The NFC is not just a payment way to pay. You can also use it as a key lock to open your car, to build loyalty programs. So there's a lot more to it than just making payments. And really, I think this is where Swatch Group sees the future of the Swiss watch industry, at least. Yeah.
Interesting. I just want to get your take, John, on how much is riding on this new product offering from the Swatch Group at a time when the company has been under enormous pressure because of the currency headwinds.
Yeah, there is a lot going on for Swatch Group and the Swiss watch industry. The Swiss franc is not helping any of them at all. In addition, the Greater China region, which has been the main growth driver for the last few years, that's under a lot of pressure. And now you have Apple. So it does look pretty rough. However, look at the Swiss franc. It is actually weakening a fair amount against the dollar. At the end of the day, it's all about the US dollar for the Swiss watchmakers. About half of their revenues are in dollar or dollar denominated. So things are not as good as they were pre what happened with the Swiss franc in middle of January, but probably actually every day it gets a bit better as a dollar goes up. They've all put through a sort of a round of price increases in Euroland. They're also introducing different changes in working practices. So I think they're working hard to offset the impacts of the currency. As a result, profitability of the industry probably won't be impacted as much as people were worried about just a month ago.
And John, very quickly, does this product launch change your view on the stock, your recommendation in any shape or form?
Yeah, I must admit I'm a buyer on the stock. It has a long-term track record of innovation generally. You mentioned, electronics isn't necessarily a specialty, but, it does have a long history of, expertise in microengineering and electronics, a world-class industrial infrastructure in Switzerland, and a great position in that Greater China region. The Chinese will come back for watches without a doubt.